Thank you, thank you. Welcome, welcome. And yeah, that's definitely an interesting one. I'm glad I went on that adventure. It's I actually can't say it's the best, though I couldn't tell you what was, but it was very good, and it has quite literally changed my life. I'm starting to do things because of it. Pretty cool. All right, give me just a moment. And white. That's what it is. All right. But yeah, thank you for going on that adventure with me. There's still, I think, Higurashi left, right? Is that just as long? Does that work? So what exactly? So what exactly is Higurashi to Umineko? It's just, it's like the prequel or something, right? But an unrelated story that's tangentially related to it, I believe, is the best I've heard of it. But either way, I'm going through that story long too. Well, let's just add another year to it then, huh? But did we ever figure out who killed Najo? That was a big one, and I couldn't figure it out. Or we did, and I can't remember doing so. There's a few oddball scenes and stuff like that. Yeah, Umineko, they didn't do a lot of explaining. They put in a lot of questions and not as many answers. Yeah. And if I were to say like which ones were my favorite, I'd probably say the earlier ones. The ones with the closed rooms and murders. Burn Castle Sergeant. Okay. Well, Burn Castle Lambda are definitely the oddest ones of that whole story. They very odd. I'm still not entirely sure what to make of them. Yeah, it's personally the Lolita aspect of things has never quite been my preference, especially ones that are very masochistic. That's very against my tastes. But yeah, it's a weird story, man. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know if I can recommend that to people. Most of the ones that people I know are doubtful going to read something that long. But yeah, it's okay. One of the things I'm somewhat excited about is now I can actually look at Umineko spoilers, because throughout that whole thing, new spoilers could always possibly be there, so I was never able to look into any of that. I had to be just, nope, don't touch that, don't look at that, don't look into anything more, because you never know what might be. Oh yeah, so and so died, and so and so was whatever. And it's like, god damn it. Yeah, so now I can actually take part in those discussions, take part in the actual artwork and fan art that I couldn't before. So I'm looking forward to that a bit. Yeah. If I'd have to say my favorite character was probably Dillinor. She was pretty cool. I like her. But yeah, and my favorite chapter is one of the earlier ones, but they blurred together, especially after so long. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I really liked that story. It could have been a little shorter, but yeah. Oh yeah, and I had a theory way the hell early on about the whole thing, and this was in the earlier games. I think episode 4 or so was when I came up with it, and it turned out to be mostly false. Yeah, I know, this is the problem with doing things after they've already been aired. You can't touch nothing. Yeah, but we'll see about Higurashi. Yeah, it's I think I'm gonna be taking a break from the stories for a bit. Just a change of pace, something different. And actually, that last bit with all the goats and the boats and the pirate hats. Oh yeah, you see? Wait, I was thinking about doing the Obra Dinn, that black and white solve the mystery on the boat game. That might be a fun little sideline to a diversion for a bit before we shift gears. Mixing colors. I did too. Especially since I've got better resolution now. I think I can give it a fair shot. So I think we'll switch over to that for a bit. I don't think it's overly long, but it's also a mystery type thing. So you're supposed to figure out who was killed by what, and you're not really given a straight answer. You've got all these clues and you got to piece it together. So I think that might be fun. It's also got time travel and stuff, which will probably mess up a lot of things. But yeah, I think that's what we'll do for next week or so. Give it a shot, see where it goes. But yeah, Redeem me Wiki for answers. Alright, I could do that. But answers on what specifically? The murders, the cases, the mysteries, the paradoxes, whatnot. Yeah, I can actually look into that now. I don't have to be afraid. Because, yeah, it's, every so often I'd go online on a forum or a chat group or what have you. Just casual browsing of whatever. And Umineko would be brought up, and it's like, nope, can't read that no more. But now I can actually do that without fear of getting spoiled and stuff. Who killed who and stuff. Alright. Because, yeah, that Najo one is the one that bugged the hell out of me. Who the hell could do it? If there wasn't a extra person. And I don't know. That's just the big one. There were the other ones, but they were pretty much, for the most part, explained. You could figure that out. Now it's too black. Oh, damn it. Let's try that. Shannon Cannon killed him. Oh yeah, we still have the afterward game you had me play. Something of the Witch. I think there was a bit more in there to read. Forget about that one. And Chronicles of the Witch, I think is what the name was. You can start off with that, and then shift over to fully finalize Umineko. Or was that? My memory's starting to get faulty. Too much to remember. A bit of a lack of sleep, I guess, too. Yeah, so Shannon Cannon, huh? I have to go through and, like, remember how all those things went. It's too many murders to keep track of. Yeah, they all happen, and it's hard keeping them straight. Especially since I didn't write any of it down. I just went along for the ride. I'll go with this and then touch it up later. And that game has beautiful music. Some of the organ stuff I could do without, but other ones like this are really good. I see it rolls. Okay, yeah, it's yeah, so it was an ego death type thing. And so it was Yasu themselves that was the killer. Alright. Right. Gotta think like a witch. Alright. Yeah, I'll take a look on the wiki, browse through some of the closed room stuff, see a bit more what it was like. Yeah, I can now look. I can take part in discussions. It's because that's one of the big ones. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, and there's the manga bit. Okay, so there's that extra like chapter 8, I think, is of the manga left, and that confessions left to read through. So I guess we'll do that on Monday or so. And then shift over to the Oberdin and see what that has in store for us. Hey, we're painting, man. Oh, one moment. Yeah, so one of the things, there's an art school, an art atelier that I'm looking at going to down in Texas when I move. And you've got to be accepted into it or some such. Not overly entirely sure quite yet. What colors did I use for that? Oh, the other black. And it requires a showcase some of your work in order to gain acceptance or whatever the hell it is. I haven't looked overly much into it, but one of the things I'm going to be doing is showcasing these paintings. So if I get the accepted because of Beatrice portraits, that'll be pretty interesting, I think. Alright, so let's go with this. Just the tiniest bit of view makes that somewhat. I think that's working out. Alright. We'll see. Try that. Thank you. Tsubasa thing? 3 to 4 streams. It's kind of funny that that's a unit of measurement. And you guys make fun of Americans for using odd measurements. Yeah. I could look into doing some of that stuff. But yeah, it's more I try and fix, the more it just looks different. Give me a sec. Yeah, the fanfic, so. If it's not something I already got, you'll have to send me a link so I can get it. Maybe through the Discord or some such. Oh yeah, and there's the Gold Truth that Battler used, and I guess Angie used at the end of the last bit of sorts. It was more powerful than the Red Truth. It's an odd bit of contention. The whole game, the Red Truth was absolute, except when it wasn't. So what exactly was the Gold Truth? They were saying it was the territory's lord absolute understanding of whatever, which, okay, we can go with it being the single truth of the matter. And that raises the question of what exactly is the Red Truth? No idea, to be honest, huh? Not explicitly explained. Constructed from belief? Oh. Okay. It's a scientific method that not doing. This is muted. Okay, I didn't read all of it, but I read the little spoiler bit in that link. It's a belief shared between people. I think it would actually play on the it takes two to create a universe. Wait, one moment. It's corroboration. So who exactly Andy was corroborating with? It would be an odd one. But like, if I were to say the sky is blue and the Red Truth says the sky is orange, but somebody else says, no, the sky is also blue, that would be a consensus. You'd have to defy both of us, not just one of us. Or simple example, anyway, I think. Which is generally how the scientific method is supposed to work, but not necessarily how it always does. Yeah, there's a lot of bogus science flying around nowadays. Which is really problematic. and some other issues, but I'll just not get into those ones. But oh, come on, very nice. Oh, speaking of, yeah, my brother, the other day, got a game on sale and gave it to, the other family members. So me, my dad, my brother, and my brother-in-law all got together and played this game. And it was actually the, first time all four of us had ever actually gotten together online like that for a multiplayer game. We played board games and such, but that was the first time we did it through the computer, which was pretty cool. Well, this year kind of is somewhat of an excuse because the world got messed up. So there's that. Give you some leeway, but on the flip side, you also had more chances to do a lot of that. But yeah, I'm in the same boat. I need to stop browsing the internet for just dumb shit. And work a bit more on projects. Yeah, so I'm gonna try personally. But yeah, it's thank you. The game was Sanctum 2, a tower defense first-person shooter multiplayer thing. Very weird, but pretty fun. My dad, he's partial to the tower defense aspect, less so the first-person thing, but we were all able to make it work, which is pretty cool. And it was nice playing with family like that. Alright, so you guys right there. But yeah, unfortunately, the game aspect, my dad, he's got a computer that we picked up from a friend of a friend type thing, and so it was used, but it was like really good PC, but it has crashing issues. It keeps crashing sporadically. We're not sure what it is, but we're pretty sure it's the graphics card wigging out for some reason. So yeah, throughout the game he'd randomly crash for a bit, and then wait for me to get back and play again. He'd play fine, but then all of a sudden, just out of the blue, crash. No sudden thing. It happens even outside of games. It's weird. But yeah. But one of the other points I was making, we did that on Monday evening, and so it kind of threw all of our sleep schedules out of whack. So yeah, my sleep has been messed up lately. Technically, my sleep has been messed up for a long time now. That needs to be a bit different there. Sorry, a bit focused on here. schedule as much. It's not necessarily sleep schedule, but being able to go function quite properly. I don't know. 'Cause yeah, last night I have the weird problem of if I like try and go to bed early, like say I go to bed at 8 and I try and go to bed at 7, I'll wake up like an hour or two later and then not be able to fall back asleep for hours more. It's really frustrating when that happens. And generally the cause of that is a odd sleep schedule because staying up late doing something stupid like playing games with your family, what have you. But yeah, so it's not necessarily sleep schedule, but sleep normalcy, I guess is one way to put it. But yeah, it's just a bit different. What's normal anymore? Yeah, yeah. Normal is what you make it, I guess. Or there is no normal. Give me a second, I'm focusing here. I'm using a black outline, and I really don't like messing that up. Because if you do, it gets a big old black blob that's really hard to take out, take back. Or if you like, it's a very thin black line. Very easy to make things look different. But yeah, what is normal? Normal tends to be what you make it. Oh yeah, that's another odd little point. I have this weird relationship with schedules and routine. It's a bit weird and I don't quite know exactly how to explain it, but if I don't have a routine, just like go ahead and do whatever today, I end up doing jack shit because I'm lazy that way. But if I have a schedule, I can work at doing things better. See, Vic, welcome. Probably not, but they should. Maybe I'll have to look into the restream bot again. I can't keep all of those windows open. I don't have enough screen space for every website. That's why that's supposed to work. Anywho. Maybe Facebook changed how they handle things and the bot wasn't able to keep up. Anyway, hey Matt. Oh, sorry. It's Facebook is weird, personally. But yeah, no, it's sitting here painting, chatting about dumb shit. real shit. Bullshit. But yeah, welcome. But the comment I was making, I have a weird relationship with routine and schedules. If I don't have a routine, I get bored, nothing happens, and I don't do much. But if I have a schedule, I can work with it, but only for so long. It starts becoming, you start going through the motions. Wake up, stream, eat breakfast, go to work, come home, go to sleep, wake up, stream, go to work, and just start doing it, and it loses its luster a bit. That's one way to say it. And so I'm trying to look into shaking things up personally, seeing if I can get some other stuff going. There's a routine is good for building up consistency, but on that same exact vein, this consistency, there we are. It can be a double-edged sword, and the lack of anything new can actually be detrimental. You get bored, and you get used to the routine. It becomes just another thing to do. So that's one of the reasons I'm about the embracing chaos. Allow the odd and the unexpected into your life. Let it shake things up a bit. Anyway. Yeah. Alright. Stay in school, learn a lot of stuff, all that jazz. Alright. But yeah, have a good day. All that jazz. Oh, yeah, one of the things about the schedule, I'm looking to I guess the phrase is turn over a new leaf. I guess applicable. Once I move to Texas, I'm gonna try and do a lot of things differently, and force myself to do so as well, so I'm not just the same person in a new area. Hollow achievements, yeah, it's not entirely. Some of the clubs maybe, but yeah, different groups. For me, it's probably dancing, yoga, art, potentially, ironically, a gaming club of some sort. And try things that, one, I can't do here because they don't exist, and two, things I've not done before because I was either too shy, afraid, what have you. I'm gonna try and force myself to go do different things. The big one for me is gonna be riding a bike, just exploring the town, because it's actually been brought some of my friends before. I've given some of my coworkers rides back home to work on the way, and I tend to have a habitual way of doing things. Alright, go down this street, go down here, go down there, take a right, go over there. It's like, you could have gone this way. I could have, but I just habitually go this way because that's the way I do things. I'm going to try and force myself to not do that and go down roads and say, I feel like going down this way today. and try that. I can't really do that here because my trip to work is a highway. It's literally the only road there, unless I want to go like completely all the way like around the mountain to get back into town. So I've got one road into town. I could explore the town itself a bit more, but that's another matter. Can I do that? Maybe. Yes, we have 2 stoplights in the whole town. And it's the county hub. So yeah, it's a small town. Which again is one of the reasons I'm moving. I've got trails and such. At our place over here. Give me a sec. Well, we've got woods in the area, like I keep saying. I could have mountain back here, and I can go explore and do some stuff if I want to, but there's not a lot there. It's logging grounds, and then neighbors over there, so we can't quite go that way. But it's but yeah, maybe I could start going on just backwoods walks. That was the other day when I decided to go walk with my dogs. It's shit like that, because going with a routine, that wasn't quite a part of it. We just let them out, run around, and bring them back in when they ask. That's kind of how I work with the dogs. But going out and actually taking a walk with them, that was a different experience, something outside the norm. And I want to do some of that stuff. And I feel a bicycle in a city could do stuff like that. Because I was going back to Portland and Germany as well when we walked to the places. It's such a simple change, but such a significant one for me personally. Because that's not what you do in America. America was pretty much literally built around roads and cars after a certain point, or at least wagons and such. And so the concept of walking places is odd, not quite normal, especially in places where you have to drive just to get to town. You aren't in there. I think that's the problem. I'm in the same boat. Too much routine and you get bored. I think routine is best used as a support, not a rigid frame. You have the option of doing. Uh, I'm still trying to figure it out, and my current thoughts on it are like, this is a time where you are allowed to explore. You can do things, but I'm also starting to try and play with shifting other things around. I don't know. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Too much of the same thing, and you're bored. Just more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. Nothing is there. It's just going through the motions. One of the things that I might also help suggest is staying off like social media, the internet, as in general, and allow yourself to do your projects, for instance, because that is another one. We get into routine, not enough time, or we just keep habitually going through the motions of what have you. But take a step back and realize you're not stuck in a routine. You can leave it whenever you like, for the most part. Because one of the other things I've come to the thought of is most of our problems are all because of, I hate to kind of use the buzzwords, but society. Physically, practically, I could get up, go in my car, and just drive wherever the hell I want to right at this moment. But I don't, because that's not quite what, one, would be ideal for me right now, but two, because that's not quite what society approves of. Me just up and leaving on everything. But you can do that for personal things. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna up and drop YouTube, for instance, and go and do some painting or working. It's just, you get stuck in habits and routines, and they just start doing same old, which isn't all that effective. I don't like the red on our stockings. The color doesn't work right, but yeah. But yeah, it's allow yourself to get shaken up from a routine and build a new routine, something different. I don't know, I'm still figuring out myself, so I'm not an expert. Just the guy who's trying shit. It's in part one of the other reasons I'm doing evening streams now. Because shifting it around the norms a bit, while also trying see if that works out a bit better for me personally. It does, like, time wise, but not internet wise. We've got this weird thing. My dad is the one who where are you up? My dad has noticed it. During sunrise and sunset, our internet seems to wig out a bit. It doesn't quite, it's not exactly stable. And the new hours I'm working with tend to sit in the sunset range and cause some issues. right? I picked up red, but it was coloring... I picked up black, but it was coloring red. That's odd. Yeah, that's one of the thought processes, but it's... We can't quite verify any of that shit. But yeah. Crummy net. Yeah, that happens. It's understandable. It is what it is. But still frustrating, nonetheless. But yeah, I'm hoping to shake up my routine when I get to Texas and allow for the unexpected to happen. That's what I'm truly hoping for. Because currently in this small town, not a lot of unexpected can happen other than things stopping. Or getting shut down and the like. Yeah, it's... I need to start working on that too. Because a lot of times I don't have a goal. I figure it up as I'm going, which leads to a lot of procrastination because I don't need to do something. I don't have anything set up. Nothing gets done. And it's not the best way to go about things. Nothing gets done. But yeah, having a goal, something to shoot for, helps quite a deal. Because yeah, I've actually found when I have a project, a goal, something to shoot for, instead of just, I feel like doing this today, it goes a lot better. There's some of the videos and like things I keep track of. I look into like TED Talk stuff, motivational, what have yous. And one of the things is you don't quite procrastinate. I'll just sum it up. It's an emotional attachment. If you don't have a strong emotional attachment to a thing, you'll not do it, because what's the point? It's like, I don't care about that. But if you have a goal, okay, I need to make 5 of these because like it's the requirement for the whatever. Okay, there we go, there, I can do that. And it pushes you a bit more. I think that's also one of the reasons why game jams, if you've ever looked into some of those, where it's like, make a game in 24 hours for this thing, or you've got a week to make a game based off strawberries, or something stupid. those work off. You have a time limit, and a bit of emotional investment to do it as well. And one of the big they can also be really stupid. Oh, they have TED Talk on Twitch? I didn't know that. But yeah, I tend to try and look at the intellectual type stuff, philosophical, things like that. And it leads to some interesting thought processes and thinking. And a big one for me is, I'm rambling here. Give me a second. Yeah, maybe not. Who knows? But a big one for me is other people. That's a big motivation for me to do things. Me, myself, I'm not really all that. Doesn't matter as much. Because I know I run into the pitfall of setting a personal goal. I'll run a mile today, or like in this week, I'll be able to run a mile in whatever the hell, 6 minutes, some random number. I don't know. Just an example. And I'll know it's entirely bullshit because it's arbitrary. I made it up. It doesn't really have any significance to me. There's no attachment. And so it ends up being just another bit where I have no investment in it. I don't fully care about running a mile. And so it ends up I just falter it and just end up not doing it. But if it's for somebody else and their goal is to, say, run the mile in 6 minutes, I'm a lot more motivated to help out and work at it. One of my issues is a lot of things I am interested in aren't really nobody else's. So it falls back down to just my goal and whatever. I don't have a true reason to keep going on whatever the task is at hand. Alright, that's decent. So that's what I always struggle with. Which is, ironically, where the stream comes in. Maybe not ironically, but it's helped me keep going. Do it for yourself. That's been my issue. Quite blankly, I don't much care about myself. I've reached a state of apathy and understanding that it's been that way for a while and it's unlikely to change. I have trouble doing things solely for myself. But I have realized the other side of the coin is this happened during my depression. I was trying to make a business, trying to go forth and make it functional, practical, and it didn't work out because I didn't have the means and such to do it effectively, and so I let myself down because of that. But it was once I started doing things for fun, because no other reason than I wanted to, that things started picking up a bit more. Give me a sec. It's fine. I was in a spot where I needed to have something practical. It all fell through. It just all straight up fell through. And these projects here, these were entirely not practical. I'm not selling them. I'm not doing anything other than learning and trying something out. And it turns out I'm pretty decent at it. And it's because it's weird. I don't quite know exactly how to phrase it, but allowing myself to be free of societal constraints. Just let me be me and do it because I want to, not because it's what I should do or what will help me out in the long run. It is what it is. No more, no less. Now, having a practical thing in addition to it is nice, but not necessarily necessary. Allow yourself to do nonsensical, useless things. If it's what you want to do, go and do it. Plain and simple. And you'll find out happiness a bit easier that way. Practically, I'm learning a craft. Yes. Yeah. I will probably... not gonna say it. But there's a chance I can start working and selling these things. Not sure how or specifically what route to take for it, but I could sell some of this stuff. Not as a full-on business, self-sustainable artist, but as a hobby. And that's one of the things I'm doing with this Twitch stream. I originally started it again trying to be somewhat practical, making clothes to promote myself so I could sell them to people who would be interested in watching me watching the process. I'm trying other things. That didn't quite pan out. more work and effort and a lot more social media than I was wanting to do. I am not a social media person. Flat out, that is not what I do. I do not work with social media. Twitter, Facebook, none of that. I don't post. It doesn't work for me. So that part just fell flat because every single how to do anything online is social media, and social media. Don't work for me. And somewhere down the line, I realized streaming is my hobby. I like doing this. I like chatting with people, doing this. Etsy, yeah. And that's probably where I'm going to do a lot of this stuff. I make something up and then go and sell it. So I have the annoying habit of, like, that was my first painting I'm truly proud of. I don't really want to sell it. This is another one I've worked hard on, and I don't really want to sell it. And so I get the feeling I'll have that for a lot of other things, unless I just keep going and make a million paintings. And it's weird. I have trouble selling my own stuff, things I've made. It's because sentimental value. But it is what it is. Okay, so I think that's just about any of the white spots we got left. A couple touch-up areas. But now, the thing I've been putting off for quite some time, the skin tone, the hair, the face. I guess we go with butterflies too. Maybe. That skin tone is just very particular, and I can't quite place it. Orange? I don't know. But yeah, it's I've realized that streaming is my hobby. I like doing it, like talking to people, doing all sorts of things like that. But I don't see it as a business, nor am I going to push it as such. If it happens to go in that direction, cool. If not, also cool. Alright, so where? Maybe try that color instead? Let's give that a shot. Yeah, it's about getting in that state of mind. And freeing yourself up from the anxiety of doing things wrong or not perfect. Because that's another personal roadblock I've struggled with for a while. Because in today's day and age, very much so today's day and age, if you're not doing it, if you're not doing something, if you're just sitting here doing nothing, that's time you could be spent doing something else, improving your life, doing this, doing the dishes. You could be researching bullshit. There's never a time to not worry about it. And so when I start thinking of things as business, I've got to go, work, always push it. But if it's a hobby, it's what it is. I like doing it, so I'll go do it when I feel like it. And it's just that mindset. And yeah, it's not about what you're doing, it's about how you're going about it, I think. But early on, that's one of the mindsets I had. I've got to do this because after every stream, I would spend about an hour trying to re-upload every post and configure it for Instagram and then Facebook and then Twitter and whatnot. And I have to spend time on social media doing things I didn't like doing to try and promote it, because otherwise I wasn't being active enough. I wasn't working towards it. It wasn't going to succeed or what have you. And so that just, quite frankly, burned me out. It wasn't working. I didn't quite know exactly what I was doing. And so it became this weird mess. But it's once I did away with the mindset of go, 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 that things started working out a lot better. Working on trying to figure out the color here, and that wasn't it. Maybe? But yeah, it's allowing yourself to be inefficient. It's a very hard thing to work towards. I can't get this skin tone right. It's too pale. I can't get that skin color down. Still working at it. And the big one for me is working better. Yeah, I'm glad too. But you gotta find a mindset that works for you, because one of the things is a lot of the people, motivational videos, how to do business or whatever, you're not spending time, you're not doing it. The perfect example is Elon Musk. He works like 100-hour weeks or something absolutely flat out ridiculous. I could never do that personally. That's not me. That's not what works for me. More white. I'll figure this out at some point. And so that's something that works for him, and that's what he wants to do. That's what he ends up doing, and he's succeeded greatly because of it. But I have no qualms or notions that I'll ever be some billionaire tycoon. I never had any early opportunities. It's an excuse, but I don't have the drive for that, nor would I have the mind. That's just not who I am. For my work, I personally take days off. I work technically part-time because I value my own personal time more so than I do the money or the growth of the business. And it's about... Is that the color? Let's go over it and see if it works. And it's about finding, I guess, the right wavelength that works for you. For Elon Musk, it's a high intensity one. For me, it's a much more casual one, a Bob Ross vibe. Because, yeah, I'm hoping to go to the city in Texas, get a job, and then just kind of like pedal around the city, just kind of casually explore, go about and do things on my own, and see where that gets me. Now, if I were in business, that would be completely bullshit, because you're not working, you're not going fast enough, or you're not spending that time riding a bike, improving your social media page, or what have you. It just doesn't work for me. So I decided to ignore it. I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna live my life on my terms. And my terms say casual. That's a much better color. Yeah, so it's a lot of pale yellow, a lot of white, and the tiniest dab of red. There you go, I think I found the skin color. Casual is nice, it is. But I do see it all over the place, and honestly I don't think I would have hit this mindset if I didn't move out here and have the ability to take a step back and look at life in general. Yeah, I had the opportunity after high school to take a step back from life and just look at things, look at life. Instead of getting so caught up in the rat race, I was able to sit down on the side and just watch it go by. And if you've ever seen the there's a movie. What the hell is it called? I'm blanking on the name of it now. It's a good one. But the movie is about a kid who's tried to get into college. Tried and failed, tried and failed, tried and failed, tried and failed. And his parents are getting on his case, so he gets his buddy to make up a fake school website that will accept him. And so he does. And they put it up online so his dad could go check it out and see that it's a reputable place. And it's like, okay, cool. That crisis averted. But his friend forgot to take it down, and it was an actual application form, and so they end up creating a college. And no, not Karate Kid. They end up creating a college, completely bullshit, and they got all these people asking for tuition, giving him because they needed to be accepted in the college. All their parents were freaking the hell out. Whatever. Anywho, and they get into shenanigans. This just college kid trying to figure out, yeah, sure, here, go take that class, whatever. Here's our teacher, my friend, whatever. Try this out. And anyway, there's this one scene in particular that I've always really noticed, and it was when he was trying to talk to some college people to way in the middle of this and see how to run a college, how it should work, so he can keep up the charade. And he goes to a college, and he enters the campus and just looks at people and looks at the situation everybody's in. And he's sitting there in a classroom about people, don't talk to me, man, I gotta cram for this, otherwise I'm not gonna pass. Or the teachers who just ignore everything, or just sitting there drawing, people just falling asleep. Or other people, he's just standing in a hallway looking at people, and they're all rushing by. And he's just looking at the rat race around him. It's because he had the chance to take a step back and actually look at what's going on. And he disagrees with it. And I love that scene because he's able to look at things, look at the world around him, and not just frantically rush through it. And that hit really close to me, because that's what I see myself doing in some small part. Um, and one of the other things is if you ever do it, I do it on occasion. When you're driving, I see it all over the place. When you're driving or like in line at the supermarket or what have you, when you're driving, do you ever look at the people in the other cars? Do you ever just like a stoplight or like somebody passing you by? Do you ever look at the other people, or you only focus on the road, just the road, and the car in front of you? Sitting at a stoplight, I sometimes look at the other people in the cars, and they're staring at the light on their phone or whatever. They're just straight ahead, nowhere else. In a grocery market, when I'm ringing people up at the counter, it's like, okay, cash credit, okay, beep, and they sit there at the card, put it in, stare at it, okay, pull it out, put in the thingy, and then, all right, have a nice day. And in that moment, they're only focused on being efficient at the task at hand. There's little back and forth or communication with people. It's become all so focused, go, go, go. I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. And if you know to look for it, you'll see it all over the place. And it's honestly kind of sad. Because if you look back on, like, before the debit transaction, what have yous, back in the old, like, Wild West days or what have you, they had a physical cash register or a guy who helped things, and they would sit there and talk with each other. And there was physical communication between the customer and the person. There was an aspect of connection. But now everything is so disconnected. But yeah, it's like you notice it, but it's become a norm to just be so disassociated with everything. It's no longer about being with people. It's that phenomenon. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It is what it is, but it doesn't have to be. Our whole society has been designed around that belief, that practice. And it's kind of saddening. And that's one of the things I hope to work around with my stream. I don't have any grand goals or whatnot with what I'm doing here. But if I can just help other people be enlightened, I guess is one term to put it through, that would be pretty cool. And again, just small scale for me personally. Yeah, sometimes people, and that's perfectly fine, just stressed because not be able to pay bills or got to get to the kid practice or something like that. Life happens. Life is all around us. But we live in a society where you can't do that. It's hell. I've run into this. Give me a moment here. It's people just can't afford to slow down. But people can't afford to slow down. They just, if I do this, I'll lose my house. If I don't make enough money, I won't be able to eat tonight. And it's just a rat race. I keep using that term, but that's literally what it ends up being. In America, 40-hour work weeks is the norm. And even then, that's starting to get to the point where that's not really sustainable anymore. You need another job, something else to be able to afford all that stuff. Stop and talk and whatnot. Yeah, it's... And I can see that. One of the other things is, I think the invention of the cell phone helped perpetuate this mindset, if in small part. Because one of the things is, I've seen it with people. Hell, I've seen it with... The worst case was with the customer I had at one time. Him and his girlfriend, I guess, came into the store and they were looking at... I forget what the hell it was. They were looking to buy, I think it was a cell booster for their setup or whatever. But the entire time I was talking to this guy about cell phones, he had the phone to his ear. He was, yeah. And he was distracted the entire conversation. And then he'd hang up and text somebody, hey, you okay with about the cell booster? Is that alright? Okay. And he was always... The entire time, start to finish, he was on his phone. And his girlfriend was also in the same room, but she was sitting off over in the corner, bebopping on her phone. And they were talking to each other, but not with each other. It was a bizarre phenomenon. Yeah. Solid work is not going to get you nowhere. And yeah, it's at that point already, in some places in America, because I see just all these multiple strands falling together. It's hard to explain one specific thing because it's not just one specific thing, but well, I'll give it a shot. I see the best example is the housing bubble that happened a few years back, and it's still around. Businesses, corporations, all that, are all about making as much money as possible. That's their entire purpose. That's what a business is for, making money. But they keep trying to inflate the price. They keep trying to push it and make more money. That's what they do, so they are still doing that. And the housing market at the time was because the prices were so ridiculous nobody could pay it, and everybody defaulted and the bubble burst. And if you've ever taken a look at some of the graphs of the time, like the housing prices, they had a steady curve, okay, for a while, and then they went up and then they fell down. But they fell down to where that line would have been. Okay, so it, like, you have the graph here, and it was like going this way, and then they had the big old bubble, and then it burst, and then it stabilized back to this line that was here. That was the natural progression of the prices. But the businesses and corporations, I don't mean to nag on them, but they are a problem, and that has happened. And then I see that with other things as well. We're all living on this bubble that isn't sustainable. You've got to work this so many hours to afford a house that is a price that you shouldn't be paying to do this, and in order to do that you got to work all these times, and then 40-hour work weeks are too much for a normal person, but we need 80-hour ridiculous amounts of hours to make the money to afford the things that shouldn't be that price in the first place, and it's just a big old mess of everything. And I see that problem, and it's a lot of different fragments woven together to create this big mess we're in right now. And I probably sound like I'm rambling a bit, but I see correlation in places. They're odd and roundabout, but I see bits and pieces. And it's because of partly these prices that are so crazy. Yeah, hell, my folks, going off on a small tangent. They rented a house, found out it wasn't for them. They bought their own house, then they worked at it, sold it, and moved here. And they wanted to own this property, which is cool. We are in the we own it. We still have payments on it, but we own this. That's not going to work for me physically. I don't think I would be able to own a property flat out. Not for anything I would personally need. My brother's another case. He worked at a lumber yard, got crazy amounts of money, and then bought a place with cash, which is awesome, but that's not what I need or want. So my view on moving out is rental is the only way I can it'll work for me. I also am renting with a roommate, which I've never done before, because that's in the price range that's possible for me. And so it's a shift of times, a shift of priorities. One of the other ones, some metrics. Young people, my age I guess, and younger, are less and less likely to get married in today's day and age. The age of marriage is getting older and older. The people who still live with their parents is still a very, very large number because nobody can afford to move out. And it's this odd rat race of a world where so much is stacked against you, I think. The roommate aspect is the one part I'm most unsure of, quality-wise, for when I move out. But I have faith that I'll find somebody that'll work out. Or at worst, I could straight up get a room and then choose the roommate as opposed to the other way around. But yeah, it's and it's, speaking of 2000s, my folks always talk about their times every so often. And my dad, he was really into the music. My mom, she was big into the way the world was, the economy, I guess, at the time. But my dad, he talked about the music. He's Cars fans, The Police, a couple others. That's the kind of music he likes. If you look back on it, at least American history is the only one I've really got. You've got specific, like the 20s, the swing, the 60s, hippies and reggae, 70s, 80s, rock, it was starting to take place. 90s was a pretty decent, that's my era I grew up, and you had time slots, and like there was memorable bits about it. But then the millennia happened, 2000, 2010. It's been 20 years since 2000, but I'd challenge you to remember any like music that was memorable from then. I guess rap came into being, but nobody really remembers anything. There's no, this is the defining factor of the 2000s. This is the defining factor of the 2010s. There's like nothing there. It's like no substance. It's weird. It's like there's nothing memorable about the current generation. It just is. And it's an odd thought I've had for a while, and it I'd challenge you to say that it had no music. It had music, but nothing of memory, nothing of worth, nothing that stuck around. It was all designed to sell, be sold, and then forgotten. And that's what happened. It was sold and then forgotten. Hell, some of the most famous people in the current generation are the Kardashians. I still have no idea who the hell they are, why they're important, and apparently neither do a hell of a lot of other people, but they're the ones who people are watching because reasons. No good classics. And that's it. It's this weird degradation of society of sorts, and a lot of other reasons is why, but the world is stacked against people at this point. When betting on a man in the world, bet on the world. But yeah, it's this weird. One thing that I always like look back down onto it is it's all fake. Everything in the world is fake now. We've got, going back to social media accounts where they get like perfect selfies and everything's edited, and they portray only the good about them. It's all fake. People screw up. People are ugly, gross, and horrible at times. It's not just all sunshine and rainbows, and it's a fake person, fake account of them. We have reality TV shows that are faked. They put in stuff and they over centralize things. Fake. We have politicians, just by their very existence, fake. We have musicians and stuff that are trying to sell you a song that nobody cares about. Fake. We have the Kardashians, celebrities who have nothing behind them. Fake. We have housing prices that have been inflated to ridiculous prices. Fake. The whole society currently is all fake. There's no other word I can use to describe how things are. Or a lot of people in social situations, they aren't quite real. They have agendas, which people have their own agendas, but it's not quite their own, and you can kind of tell sometimes. It's just fake, fake, fake. Everything is fake. And so, plastic, that's a word for it. Plastic. It's an imitation of what it should be. And that's why. Oh yeah, and then there's the YouTube algorithm. That's another one. But yeah, it's just like plastic surgery. It's one of the reasons why I try and be me. I'm not trying to be some flashy entertainer for people, or some person, my own personal mascot for buy my shit. Oh my god, that was so real. I hate that. I personally hate all that kind of stuff. But going back to like the YouTube algorithm, YouTube is based off a algorithm. You have to follow the algorithm, otherwise your channels will never succeed. And the algorithm works off of clickbait. And so you go to YouTube, I will bet you $1 million. One of the first things you'll see is some guy going on a thumbnail somewhere. Some horrible overreaction, and the filter is all heavily saturated pictures with like arrows and like circles and like neon pink colors and shit to get you to look at it, to get you to look at this overreaction, because that's the only thing that sells. But yeah, it's the reason why I'm trying to be just me, and I'm not going to be a millionaire or anything. I'm just going to be me, watching my little stream, talking to people about my life. And currently, my life isn't all that interesting. It will be down the line once I get there. Currently in a transitional limbo is an odd way to put it. But yeah, and again, everything is fake. And there was the other day I watched a video about a guy talking about his channel, and he linked another one talking about how things on YouTube work, and he gave this really good analogy. You've got the audience, like us watching whatever. Okay, we want to look for things, but then there's the algorithm, and it determines what you want to watch and what people are wanting, and so it gives the audience more of those things. And then you've got the creators, like say me, creating this channel. I am making my content, and I want my content to be seen by the audience. But I can't just hand it to them. I have to hand it to the algorithm, and the algorithm decides whether it's worthy or not of handing to the audience. And so the creators are making content specifically designed for the algorithm, because that's the only way for them to get there to the audience. And the algorithm is trying to chase the audience based off what it thinks the audience wants. So we're making something that we think the algorithm will want, which is choosing things which it thinks people want. And so we've got, like, we're chasing the algorithm chasing the people, and the people are trying to chase the creators. And it's just so much middlemen, so many room for error. Like, if we just allowed people to be themselves, I want to look at cat videos. And, like, I've got a cat video here. You want to see it? Cool, no problem. No. The algorithm, no. You want to watch these cat videos. You want to watch a dog video. You want to watch the silly elephant video. No, I want a cat video. It's all fake. It's all forced on us. It's all a plastic world. And so it's stuff like that just... it... you know? So I'm trying to be just me. I'm trying to do that a bit more. And this whole process has also been about finding what that actually is. Currently, it's a painter of sorts. A really slow painter, but one nonetheless. I'm working at it, getting to it. But yeah, it's figuring out who I am and what I want is actually a really it's totally thrown on us. Yeah, and the only way to combat it is, for instance, the YouTube example. The only way to circumvent the algorithm is to go to a different alternative, but those aren't there because they're all bought out or stamped out. So the only option is YouTube, and it's a fake bubble, and it's not working. Yes, but it's just slow. I tend to jabber a lot and lose focus. I could... let's work on that, I guess. Good. Take a dab at you. I'm doing good work, just not fast work. And that was the other... I realized early on, they do, but they can be done much faster. Especially for the scale I'm working at. But yeah, it's... early on, I realized that I didn't quite have the... again, the effort, the energy, the motivation to work non-stop all the time in order to have a efficient business. So I've decided to embrace that bit, and I'm not going to push myself back to what I was, where it's just every day, work, go. It doesn't work for me. It's not who I am. So it's I've accepted, I don't know, but at the same time, I do know I could be better than I currently am. I could be pushed a little further and go a little faster, which there's always room for improvement. There's always room for improvement. And I see that, and I can work towards it. And so that's my personal gripe and hang up. I could be doing more. I could. But I'm not so fixated on that point at the expense of everything else. Well, the other yeah, it's that is actually another point. Also, back in the older days, there wasn't the internet, and so your competition was much smaller. And currently, my competition is the entire world, which is not a good prospect. Yeah, you were not a machine, and that's it. And this doubles back onto the businesses aspect of it. What is that? Businesses, if business could replace you with a machine, they would, just flat out. Cheaper, more efficient, and longer lasting, as they are. But people are not machines. People are people. They are their own being. And so treating people like something they're not is a good way of breaking things. You are not a machine. Yeah, one of the things that I a while back looking at motivational videos or stupid shit. I can't remember exactly when I originally found it, but it was this stupid Team Fortress 2 video. And they were voicing famous quotes and lines and shit like that. But one of them was breaking things. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. But anyway, the original Team Fortress 2 video, that's the one I saw originally. So that's my reference of it, but I have seen the original afterwards. It's from the movie, I believe, The Dictator. It's a Charlie Chaplin film, which he happens to be the spitting image of a horrible dictator. And at the end of it, he gives a speech to the entire country and the world. And it's actually a very, very powerful speech. If you got a moment, I would actually suggest listening to it. I don't have an exact link for you, but yeah, and in it, one of the lines is, you are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. And that is exactly it. my mom's actually in a similar bit, but she's really stubborn. So she'll work through it. It's more likely to break her physically than it is mentally, which is troublingly. Yeah, she's. But yeah, it's just push to the breaking point, push past what people are willing or even physically able to work with. It's not a good sight. And like I said before, if a business could replace you with a machine, they would. Yes. And yeah, I'm trying not to be hateful of society and people, but honestly, it's very, very difficult not to be. But it's so I try and live my life with the model of everything in moderation, and judge things based off it like that. And so I don't quite hate everybody, but I hate what we've become. I'm trying to not lose hope. That's a way to put it. But it's a hard uphill battle. One of the other things is it's yes. One of the ways to look about it is backwards. If you go into expecting everybody to be nice, loving people, and then realize they're not, that will lead to depression, loss of faith in humanity, things like that. If you look at it the other way around, everybody is horrible and idiotic people until they prove otherwise, and then you find somebody who bucks the norm, it means that much more, and you have a little bit more hope. So that's kind of a horrible way to go about it, but that's also a good way to go about it, I think. At least for your own well-being. Because there is one of the other things, it's I lost my train of thought. But it's just a very poor setup for the world in today's day and age. It's just not designed for that was it. You've got to take care of yourself, because if you don't, no one else will. Businesses, society, they will not give you a second thought and trample you to the floor if it means something for them. And so it's a bit of what I've come to is somewhat embracing that, somewhat, and looking out for myself, and not Because I honestly was in a depression because I was trying to fit other things. I was trying to not be a burden for other people. Trying to that's gonna be such a weird bit. But it wasn't until I started doing things for me that things started going better for me. That's not to say I put everybody else completely by the wayside, but I focused on myself, and that allowed me to help other people as well. So it's I also always think back to I want to say it's medic training. I've never had it, but I've heard of it. The order of operations for a field medic, or so I remember, but I can't remember. Find out exactly where it is 1, treat yourself. If the medic is not able to work, he can't help anybody else. If the medic can't help anybody else, it doesn't matter how good that life you saved, you're not going to save anybody else if you die. So as a medic, you make sure you're okay and able to work on other people before you start working on other people. That way you can save the greatest number of lives. And I'm trying to take that mindset into society as well. Make it so that I'm able to do and work on things before I take on other people's shit. Even if that means saying, no, I'm not going to help you do your thing. Because that is one of the other things I've noticed is you pick up social baggage. That's one way to put it. It's like, I gotta go to this guy's party, otherwise we're gonna do this. I gotta go talk to them, make sure that they're doing okay. And you're running around for all these other people who, in order to please them, but that's like the only reason you're doing it, kind of. It's weird. Once you start letting go and then choosing to do what you want to do as opposed to what you feel you should do, it opens up a lot of avenues. But yeah, and again, it goes also back to moderation. It's not just ignore everybody and do solely what you want, but get a feel for it and figure out, today it's more important to work on me, tomorrow it's more important to work on this other person who needs help, or what have you. I think it's like a... And yeah, that's one of the things. To give some actual evidence for that one, for I think most of June, all of July, I stopped looking at social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of it. I just straight up cold turkey left and stopped. I came back in August because somebody actually did try and contact me, and I got back to them, but that was the only person who talked to me. Everything else was nothing of importance. I even stopped looking at some of my emails. I generally tend to do that all at once. I was looking at emails, and there was only like 2 out of like a month's worth of things that were even of any importance whatsoever to me. And it's kind of, I don't quite know the right word, but I was sort of let down, but not really. I was kind of expecting that, but it was weird seeing it actually happen. But I've started working on the mindset and the practice of minimalism. Getting rid of anything you don't need. And just, if it starts building up, one of the things I've started looking at is like cleansing or purging things, because I start getting up all these like problems and like, okay, time to just purge everything. Okay, don't need this, don't need this, don't need this, don't need this, don't need this. Okay, this is what I've got. And then you start building up a big pile of trash again. Okay, don't need this, don't need this, don't need this, don't need this. And it helps keep things a bit more centered and clear for what you need to do. It works for me. It may not work for everybody else. But I'm also starting to kind of apply that to relationships as well. People and friends. It's a bit, again, self-centered and potentially cold, but I need to do what I need to do. So, and if that's a step, that's a step I gotta take. And yes, one of the things, I'm moving to Texas at the end of November-ish. It's a fuzzy date in order to facilitate any other loose ends I have. But the things holding me back that I wouldn't want to move for, my belly dance troupe, my family, and leaving my work in a place where I'm without a technician. That's what I got. My family, they're okay with me moving. It's sad, but they want to come see me, but I'd have to do that anyway if I want to move. My work technician bit, I'm planning to try and find and train a replacement for them. I'm not going to abandon them. They're good people, but I just don't want to live here. And so that's alright. Let's sort that out. And then the dance troupe, it's kind of fallen apart. The quarantine didn't help it a bit because it's an outdoor event, and our group is kind of split up, kind of like breaking up a band sort of thing. And so that leaves nothing left holding me back here. And that was honestly it. That's the only things holding me back here. And I had to sort through and cleanse myself of the things I needed to cleanse. And that was it. But that's been something that's troubled me. Hello. Oh, yeah, right. Time. But yeah, it's finding out what's holding you back, what's not helping you is another one. That's one way to put it. It's not that they're hurting you, it's that they're not helping you. It's kind of a neutral baggage, and you end up with a big old backpack full of things that are potentially useful but not really, kind of just stuff. It's not worthless, but it's not really all that useful. I'm using odd metaphors. And so, figuring out that for yourself, because I can't answer it for anyone else, but getting rid of the things that are just there on you, weighing you down, and letting yourself take a break and find the better path, the better way to do things. But yeah, social relations can weigh you down, and when you let go of that, you're now free of any of the social obligations, and you can do what you want to do. And with that, I'll take off, go eat breakfast, something like that. It's always pretty calming working on these paintings, so I appreciate working on them with you. Anyway, take care, everybody. Have a good one. Hope your day and your life goes a bit better.